I just found an awesome combination of effects in Hades 2, resulting in the most consistent, easy to use, and self-sufficient damage setup that I've used in the game. I'm not exactly a professional Hades player, so take that with a grain of salt, but let me show you what I've cooked up. I think it's pretty cool. For the build I will be showing you, I will be using the Witch's Staff Descura, specifically focusing on this weapon's Omega Special, which launches a ball of energy that explodes on contact with enemies and requires 10 magic to cast. I never really gave Descura's Omega Special much credit until just recently, where I tried a Daedalus Hammer upgrade for the staff that lets it do something that it doesn't really feel like it should be able to do. This buff is called Etheric Moonburst, which gives the Omega Special a power shot that does extra damage and restores magic. A power shot basically being a brief period of time directly after an ability finishes charging where it can be released and the special effects are applied to it. Now the extra damage is nice, but the magic restoration included in this upgrade is what really turns the Omega Special into a powerhouse. It makes it infinitely reusable. Simple as that. As I've shown, the Omega Special costs 10 magic to cast, and Etheric Moonburst will give back that cost as long as you hit the power shot, which is insane in itself. I mean, the Omega abilities cost magic for a reason, so that you can't do this. There's even a delay after using them before normal magic restoration buffs can take effect, presumably so that a player can't just constantly spam Omega moves while regenerating their cost of use, which is basically what's happening here. And that's what I meant by consistent, easy to use, and self-sufficient, because whatever damage you can get out of the Omega move, you can constantly pump out. How much magic you have and how much you can regenerate doesn't matter at all, because it's restored by the ability, and you can just stand there and throw exploding balls at enemies literally forever. It's so brain dead. And the damage output of each individual Omega Special can actually get pretty high as well. Take this setup that I used recently as an example. Picking up Apollo's special attack boon provides a hefty damage boost and makes the AoE of the projectile bigger so that it can hit more enemies. Adding to the now stronger projectile, there's a boon from Hestia that's basically perfect for this build. Controlled Burn, which casts a fireball whenever the Omega Special is used, doing a sizable chunk of damage, but increasing the cost of the Omega Special by 10 magic. That brings the cost up to 20 magic, the exact amount restored by Etheric Moonburst, so the downside of this boon is completely nullified, and can actually turn into an advantage, which I'll explain in a second. The cherry on top, or maybe more accurately, the steroid injected into Malinois's veins, is another Daedalus Hammer buff, Dual Moonshot. This upgrade reduces the range of the special attack, but literally doubles the damage by straight up adding a second projectile, which is kinda crazy, and also wouldn't have worked in this setup when the Hades 2 Early Access came out, because Dual Moonshot didn't apply to the Omega Special until patch 2 earlier this month. And while we're on the topic of the patch notes, notice that Moonburst got a buff as well, and that's the only reason that the Hestia boon can even be slotted into this infinite use setup in the first place. So, with all of this put together in this example, the Omega Special does 596 damage when all 3 projectiles hit an enemy, which is pretty high damage. Not the highest, but it's rather impressive for a ranged AoE ability that you can use over and over again with absolutely no regards to magic consumption. And there's still more combo potential for even higher damage output. For instance, and I haven't experimented too much with this, Lunar Hexes seem super abusable when used with Etheric Moonburst, because you can charge the hexes very quickly by spamming Descura's Omega Special. Wolf Howl is one that I've tried that works really well, because its low recharge threshold means it only takes 2 Omega Specials to prepare when using Hestia's boon that I previously mentioned. And it's quite solid with such a low downtime, letting you reposition easily, doing a decent chunk of damage, and providing invulnerability during the ability animation. I think that some other Lunar Hexes and standard boons could also be really good here, but there's just a lot I haven't actually tried yet. However, Etheric Moonburst is super easy to use regardless of what you combo with it. It's worked great so far, and I'm excited to see how far I can go with it. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about this, so I'm out of here. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.